Yes.
There were three guys, two guys from the Philippines and one Hispanic fellow who started their own home health staffing company. They were working a weekend shift on a hospital. They didn't like the quality of care in their community, so they started their own home health care company, and they built that up to 60,000 visits a year in Texas. And I helped them to sell it. And when they sold it, all three of them went to the bank and had a check drawn in their name for $1 million each.
Hi, all. Welcome to yet another episode of Investment Banking Decoded, where we are connecting with the experienced bankers from the North American region. Today, we are delighted to be joined by Mr. Cliff, who is the founder and managing partner of ECP Ventures. So, Cliff has decades of experience advising founder led and lower middle market businesses on mergers, acquisitions, and strategic growth initiatives. We are excited to discuss his perspective on building value, navigating transactions, and evolving the M&A landscape. Welcome to our show, Cliff.
Thank you very much.
So, to start with, I would like to understand your background uh, and how you started with an investment banking firm.
Sure, I'd be happy to share that. I started out as a corporate CPA, worked my way up through corporate America. Probably one of the most instrumental roles. I was a chief accounting officer for a company here in Dallas, Texas. We did 9 mergers and acquisitions, did a very successful industry roll-up, and did an IPO. And that earned me the privilege going to work for Baxter Healthcare. I became the chief financial officer for the largest open heart surgery company in the world. We did 50,000 open heart surgeries a year. We were in 800 hospitals in 40 states and Puerto Rico. And then I decided to do something really entrepreneurial. And my technology partner and I built the largest OEM auto parts e-commerce platform ever created in history. We had 165 million parts applications on a single site. And we envisioned it. I raised the funding. We built it. We launched it. We perfected it. We about killed ourselves. We worked 100 hours a week for 2 years straight to activate it. And then we had to decide what to do with it. And at that point, we decided to sell it. And so I did an offering, but I only offered it to the top 10 largest auto dealership groups in the United States. And I ultimately sold it to AutoNation, which is the largest publicly traded auto dealership group in the United States. And so I sold that and could have retired at that point, but really wanted to give back. So I sold a manufacturing company because somebody asked me to, and then somebody asked me if I could help them sell a national medical device company. So I did. And ultimately, I decided to launch my own mergers and acquisition firm. And I did it for one purpose. I didn't like the prevailing ethics in the business brokerage world, and I wanted to change it. So I launched my own firm to be the most ethical M&A firm in the lower middle market. And that brings us to today. And that's what I've been doing the last 4 years. And I'm very proud of the accomplishments that we've had these first 4 years.
That's great to hear, Cliff. So, in the last 4 years, I'm sure you might have worked on a lot of transactions. Is there one transaction which is close to your heart, which is very memorable to you?
They've all been memorable. I have a tendency, because I'm up in age, to work with legacy owners. Most of my owners are between 50 and 75. Most of them wait too long to sell, and they have a sense of urgency. And so most of these business owners have created their own jail. They have incarcerated themselves. They've turned it into 24/7, 365. We have the saying, sell your company and own your future. And if they sell their company correctly, it really has multi-generational wealth impact. It's not just freeing them up financially for the rest of their lives, but it's very favorably impacting the next generation. And there's just something about it when they look in my eyes, that level of gratitude and appreciation when they realize they really have just collected 5, 10, 15, $20 million, and they never have to work again. It's just, I think that's the most enriching and fulfilling. I didn't get a lot of enrichment, fulfillment working in the Fortune 500 setting. I really did. That was hit your number, placate the analyst, placate the board, placate the shareholders. This is different. I'm working for real people, successful people who have poured a lot of sweat equity into their companies for 5, 10, 20 years, and now they get their money paid back to them very favorably. And that's so enjoyable.
That's great, Cliff. So here you are able to make a huge change in people's lives.
Absolutely. I'll give you asked for my favorite one. There were three guys, two guys from the Philippines and one Hispanic fellow who started their own home health staffing company. They were working a weekend shift on a hospital. They didn't like the quality of care in their community, so they started their own home health care company, and they built that up to 60,000 visits a year in Texas. And I helped them to sell it. And when they sold it, all three of them went to the bank and had a check drawn in their name for $1 million each. Between them, they had 8 children. So they took this, because I always tell them I like pictures of happy people. So right there in the lobby of the bank, they had kids holding these $1 million checks, all 8 kids around them. And then they sent me this picture, and it was from their kids. Thank you for helping our daddies pay for our college. So that was just incredibly enjoyable.
That would be a great feeling for you compared to the corporate ladders which you have already climbed.
Exactly. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
That's great. So as a continuation of that question, like what are the top challenges you face when you are facilitating a deal?
The challenges in my case are not doing the deal. I bring a Fortune 500 acumen to the transactions. I'm 100% sell side, but I work extraordinarily well with the buyers because I have that Fortune 500 acumen. I bring the organization, the detail, the timeliness, the transparency that's needed to conduct a transaction. My biggest challenge is finding quality companies to represent. I have been sadly disappointed. I have to turn down, I don't have to, I elect to turn down more than 90% of the opportunities that I see because there's just not enough quality there. And I've learned the hard way to not take companies that don't have quality. I mean, one of the things that's unique about my firm is I don't charge upfront fees, guaranteed fees, or minimum fees. I literally partner and become a tandem with my clients when we go to market. We go to market as one. So I have to feel that I've got a 90% probability of success in order to take on a client. And I've really struggled to find companies and owners that have that kind of quality. It's not only the quality, they have to have transferable value. With so many of these companies, when the owners step out, it creates a vortex. It creates an irreversible void, which makes it very difficult for the successor operator to be successful. So that's my biggest challenge is finding quality people. I always tell prospective clients, if you can convince me you have value, I won't have any trouble at all convincing the market that you have value. And that's true because I just need to be able to take companies to market with pride, dignity, and confidence. That 90% confidence I can successfully close for them. I'm very transparent with prospective clients, whether I can help them or not. I don't offend them, but so many times I literally have to tell them I can't help them. And it's the same thing right now with the buyers. Even though I'm 100% sell side, I get contacted by 1 to 3 buyers every single day, but they're all searching for quality too. They're frustrated. I've got one guy, for example, here I've befriended because we've talked so often. He's a buyer in the oil and gas industry for a private company. He's got a $25 million fund and a $100 million fund, and he can't find anywhere to go with it. He's just he's getting internal pressures to deploy those funds, but he won't pull the trigger on an ill-advised deal. So he's looking for deep quality, and I'm trying to find him quality. It's just hard to find that kind of quality. There's a lot of companies that are very poorly run. Yeah. They really are. That's part of the problem.
Yes. So next I want to understand, like, what are the top focus for you for the remainder of 2026 and even for 2027? What are your top goals, top focus for ECP Ventures?
My top goals once I take on a client.
No, the top goals for your firm, ECP Ventures. What are the top goals you are having?
Oh, okay. Well, as a firm, I'd like to continue growing. I mean, we've had great successes this first 4 years, but I mean, my goal was to add 5 additional associates here by the end of the year. I'm behind on that goal at this point in time, all because I'm having difficulty finding the right sellers. I've got a database of over 500 buyers that are ready to go. That all I have to do is let them know I've got a new offering. But I am excited. I'm working on 4 new ones right now as we speak. One's a third-party logistics company. One's a 90-year manufacturing company. One's a top legal staffing company, and one's a college placement advisory firm. So I'm hoping to have 4 new clients by the end of August, and then finish the year real strong. But that's the biggest thing, is to figure out the marketing piece. And so I've been so frustrated. I have tried everything from Google's pay-per-click to Facebook campaigns to 4 different lead gen companies, and they've all been a failure. I've wasted over 6 figures as a failure. So I'm trying to do something else dynamic and pioneering. I just launched a new referral program where for every successful lead, I'm paying $100,000. That's all I need is the introduction. I will gladly do the other 99.9% of the transaction. I just need somebody to make a warm introduction and say, hey, Cliff, speak to John over here at Company X. I talked to John. That's all it takes to qualify for $100,000. So I've been getting some pretty good market feedback on that. I've got three groups already that have already signed up for that initiative. My goal is to get 10 referral sources under that program, and then I won't have to do any more business development. I'll be able to do what I'm really good at, which is conducting offerings.
That's a great offer which you are running.
Yeah.
So I also would like to understand, like, how are you using AI in your workflow?
I haven't been an early adopter of AI. My technology partner, he recommended that AI write all these articles for me. And so he wrote the first 10, and I hated it. I have a lot of pride of authorship. So that's another thing that I'm doing very dynamically. I'm finding that a lot of my prospective clients are not educated, and they're not prepared to go to market and be a quality seller. So I just sat down and wrote 50 narratives on 50 things that informed sellers should know before they start to sell their company, because I want to help them self-educate. When I started out, I thought it'd only be a list of 25. Next thing, it grew to 50, and it turned out to be 30,000 words. And I've created a seller's guide right there on my website. This is free for everybody, including my competitors. It doesn't matter if people use me or not for their representation. I want people to be able to self-educate. And now it's out there. I'm putting them out on LinkedIn. I'm putting out 1 a day. Today was day 10, but I'm putting all 50 out on LinkedIn as well, just to get quality information out there so that sellers can become quality sellers, because they're really good at operating their companies, and they may have a great financial acuity, they may have a great operational acuity, but they don't know what they don't know. Doing M&A is entirely different from running a company. It is a negotiation from that first moment until the ink hits that paper, hopefully in 150 days later. Every nuance in between is a negotiation, a positioning, a representation, a value conveyance, and a normal seller cannot do that themselves. So I'm trying to help educate and illuminate them is what they really need to understand so that they can go to market effectively and successfully.
Yeah, I understood that you have taken this as a uh, uh, personal choice to become a banker, and you are helping even your competitors also. That's so generous of you.
Yeah.
So again, as a continuation of what you were talking now, like someone who is very new into the investment banking world, my last question is that what would be the top piece of advice to a fresher in investment banking world?
You're going to laugh at this one, but I have shared this more and more than you can imagine. because I've mentored a lot of people over the course of my career. I mean, in corporate America, I interviewed over 1,000 people and hired over 200 accounting and finance people. But when people ask me, what is the biggest secret or what should they do if they want to be really good at M&A? I tell them to play poker. That's truly my answer. I started playing poker when I was 7 years old, and there's nothing, I just shared with you that everything about M&A is a negotiation, a positioning, a representation. Well, that's what you do with every hand of poker, is you are trying to influence those other people around that table, and you're trying to learn how to read people and react and respond to people. And I'm telling you, all those years of poker has been the most valuable thing I've had, to be able to read that table, understand every person, understand the objectives that are stated, but really see far deeper into that to see what their real intentions are, their clear stated agenda and their hidden agendas, and be able to navigate that and influence people's thought processes and ultimately have a successful outcome. And a successful outcome, it's not buyer versus seller. That's the biggest myth in this whole thing, is sellers are like, oh, I don't like the buyer's trying to get a low ball price on me and on and on. No. You're trying to put together two high quality parties for a high quality outcome to reach a mutually successful point, so that the seller can help the buyer be successful on their side once you close the transaction. That is the key. It's not enemies. It needs to be allies. That's why you use an intermediary, because I'm the person that's 100% objective in the middle. Even though I represent the seller, I take great pride in stating I'm 100% objective of the goals of my sellers and the goals of my buyer, to bring that together into a favorable conclusion.
That's an interesting advice. I never heard this advice in all the other 20 interviews. So
Yeah, I bet
learn
not.
poker is an interesting advice to all the freshers.
Yeah.
So very, very nice talking to you, Cliff. So thank you for sharing your long expertise and valuable insights with us today. We truly appreciate your time and wish you and the team at ECP Ventures continued success. It was a pleasure having you on our podcast today. Keep
It's
doing
been
the
very
good work.
enjoyable. Yeah, it's been
Thanks a
very
lot.
enjoyable. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yeah, bye-bye.